greater Chattanooga area is rich with Civil War history, and the Tennessee Wars Commission program is working to preserve that history for future generations to connect with and understand.
Well, the commission most recently set its sights on the Browns Tavern battlefield. Our Chattanooga's Ja'Kai Spikes is live in studio now to help us break down how the funding from that Wars Commission grant fund could impact that historic site. Good morning, Ja'Kai.
Good morning, Dane and Hannah. Now, this brown building you all see right behind me is the Browns Ferry Tavern. Now, this site contains history from the Civil War and also the Trail of Tears. But if the Browns Ferry Tavern accepts funding from the War Commission Fund, there could be more additions to the site that would be beneficial for generations to come. Now, the funding would enhance the interpretation of Brown's Tavern, allowing interpretation growth and technology to be able to use for an archaeological survey of the property. We got a chance to speak to Annabelle Myers, who is intrigued to continue to learn deeper about the history of this site, paired with the War Commission Program Director, who tells us how these new additions are essential to the growth and development in our area.
It's important to keep these parks, even if they're not state funded, to continue to keep them funded so that people can continue to learn the history about it, so that they know what Chattanooga is about, what their ancestors went through, and so that it doesn't repeat itself.
Heritage tourism is so important. Heritage tourists tend to stay longer and spend more than the average tourist. So sites like these, if they're applying for, let's say, interpretive panels, it allows for heritage tourism to take root in the different communities.
Now, the Browns Tavern is the oldest standing building in Hamilton County, which I didn't even know. It was originally built in 1803. The tavern and surrounding land were purchased by the American Battlefield Trust in conjunction with local businessman Bill Chapin in 2019, ensuring the preservation of the historic site and surrounding land. I mean, another really important story, the reason why I was really attracted to it was because just seeing this land, the fact that the site is already preserved, but thinking about if they apply on Monday to receive these new grant funds, just the new additions that this taverns will have. I know that the people of Chattanooga and even people outside of Chattanooga who don't even live here come to Chattanooga because of the Civil War history, because of the Trail of Tears history as well. So I'm looking forward to it and just learning deeper about the history that lied right here where we live.
You better be careful. You're sneaking up on my history segments, Ja'Kai. You know, I'm teasing, but this is very exciting to me too, to hear that. We heard about the tourism dollars that could come from these historical sites. A lot of people that come here to explore history may stay for extended periods of time to really soak in all that history, because you can't in a quick weekend understand all there is here in the Chattanooga area. You mentioned the Trail of Tears, a big part of American history, and of course this site, the oldest and longest standing building in Hamilton County. It takes a lot of work to keep it up, and so those funds from the grant, a big help, Ja'Kai.
A huge help. And actually, I have one fact that I got from the War Commission Program Director. She told me that the amount of money varies when it comes to giving this grant money to the Brown Ferries Tavern. So that money will vary, but in the past years, they've given over $100,000.
Wow.
So this could be amazing, and even though that there's already history there, community members, out-of-towners who come just to visit the Brown Ferries Tavern will be able to go into a deeper dive. So when we talk about that archaeological surveys, Dane, help me out with that word. Can we say?
You got it right, archaeological. Yes. It's always a mouthful at 8 in the morning, right?
Yes, but those surveys, so just really learning about our ancestors and just people who came before us who were on this land, and the difference that they made, or even things that we could learn from that they didn't do back then.
Mm-hmm. You know, Ja'Kai, you mentioned people from out of town, tourists coming to see all of the history that Chattanooga has to offer. So much history here in this one spot. Tourism we've seen booming here in Chattanooga over these past few years especially, and even people who have lived here their whole life. I mean, Ja'Kai, you said, me too, I didn't realize this was the oldest building here in Hamilton County, and maybe some people who have lived in the East Phoenix City didn't know that either. So this is a great way way to just get the word out there about history. Maybe people who have kids now are able to bring their kids to these historic sites, start to teach them a little bit more about the deep, deep history here in the scenic city.
Just a great story. Jakai, thank you so much for your time, and we'll follow that grant money.